This is Blenderstyle. We're discussing Protest the Hero, Palimpsest. This album came out June 18th, 2020 on Spine Farm Records. That's a lot of punk album bands on that album, yeah? On Spine.
I don't know. I never heard of it. I just like the name, though.
Oh, well, I might be wrong about that. We'll have to fact check that. Not really. We don't give a shit about that kind of stuff.
That wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't.
Genre.
Yeah.
Progressive metal.
Tech prog?
With birds.
Dude, it really has like a math rock feel to it.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
It has like math rock and like, I don't know.
Like a mixture of hardcore and some...
What other bands does this sound like?
Oh, dude.
I would say, honestly, kind of a mix between The Buried in Me and Dillinger.
It's not that heavy though.
Yeah.
No, it's not that heavy. But I'm saying
about...
it's got the math rock thing going like Dillinger, and it's got the constant change ups
like, between
The Buried.
I'm talking math rock and like what was it? The Fall of Troy was like one of those bands.
Fall of Troy wasn't that good though.
Yeah.
Is that screamo? That's not screamo.
Well, there's a mix of it, I would say.
Like a little.
Okay, so this band reminded me of a lot of different bands.
Yeah,
so
they were all over
at
the
one
place.
time it was like At the Drive-In.
Okay.
At one point it literally sounded like At the Drive-In, and then like a second later it sounded like Mars Volta. I was like, what are we doing here? This is
Oh, I have a note. It's like if Panic at the Disco were really, really into metal.
So I would say there's a part where there's like keyboards.
Yeah.
In one of the songs, I can't remember, and it's just the vocalist, and I was like, this sounds like Panic at the Disco or like Fall Out Boy. Like it like kind of had like a similar.
Okay.
There's hooks all like you said, like
yeah, it gets stuck in your head.
Yeah. So it's kind of like in that more. It's heavy, but it's more in that punk realm. It's very progressive though. There's some deep songwriting and some way deep lyrics like we've discovered.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what we like about this.
Well, hold on. Let's go back and talk about the album and the concept.
Okay. Because you got some.
So this album was written in, I want to say 2018, 2017.
It was written, but
it was
and released in 2020.
Yeah. So
they took some time.
Supposedly, the singer Rudy Walker blew out his voice during their U.S. tour in 2018, and they had already been working on this album for a couple of years at that point.
Oh.
So they took a year off for him to recover, and he pretty much had to learn to sing all over again. He had no range whatsoever after he blew it, he says.
That's something we should talk about. I think we didn't really discuss. This album is all about vocals.
Oh yeah, he's all over the place. And for hearing that he blew his voice out and the range he was able to achieve even after this, it's crazy.
I'm not surprised.
And I think I read an interview where he said he was angry at the range that he has in this album. Which
I hate how good I am.
which at the same time he said his vocal range is way better than it ever was, but he doesn't like it because of the way he has to sing now. It's completely different from the way before.
It's not his natural way of probably singing. When you have to change your voice up.
So
sometimes.
hold up. Does that mean he's air quotes struggling on this album? Like this is tough for him?
Yeah. So I'm not sure if he's struggling or if it's easy for him.
I think that's his opinion.
Yeah. Or if he's
it's a little pretentious.
Or if he's struggling.
It sounds like it for sure.
Or if he's struggling because of the style. It's just like
or is he struggling because of the lyrical content?
He might be.
Oh god.
He might be struggling because of lyrical content. But yeah, so this was a concept album. Palimpsest. Did you have the definition on that?
Dude, you just nailed that pronunciation.
Well, yeah. I've repeated it 100 times to make sure I do it right. I didn't want to sound like I didn't. Problem for the.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Try.
Okay. It means a manuscript or piece of writing material on which the original writing has been effaced to make room for later writing, but of which traces remain, something reused or altered, but still bearing visible traces of its earlier form. I still don't know what that means after reading that.
So,
I can't give you an example of that word.
Yeah, so I couldn't either. But this album is effectively about the great successes and great failures of American and world history.
Which this band is from Canada.
Yes, this band is from Canada, and that's what makes it funny. So they actually
You're bringing up all the stuff I thought was funny.
well, so they actually talked about how people are going to probably view this as a dig on American culture, but it's really not. It's more along the lines.
Is it?
Well, there are some tracks and some lyrical content that really can be deemed.
It's a jab, and they also.
Jab, but it's not necessarily a jab at American culture. It's a jab at the way we rewrite history to favor ourselves.
Oh, that's fair.
I also think that's happened just.
Oh, it happens everywhere.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, the Canadians can say whatever they want.
Oh yeah, they're like the Swedes. They're neutral no matter what.
No, I love Canadians. I love
Dude,
Canada.
I have nothing against Canada.
No, I don't either. But yeah, so he
this
actually
guy is
touches
like
on
talking about like the history of America and history,
But Greenland.
and patriotism and stuff in America, and he's from Canada.
Yeah, but he's not necessarily talking about it. He's talking about the
you
great things that happen in America.
Yeah.
But the underlying issue that we see. Okay, so like one of the songs.
Well, let me ask a question. Is he doing a history report or is he appropriating American culture? I'm just asking the question.
So yeah, I don't know.
I think this is history report because this guy's all over the place.
He is all over the place.
How many
So,
words are in this? Like
Dude, there was one part
It's a
where they
10,000
literally
word essay.
sped up, and it was so so I want to.
Yeah.
Like, the musicianship in this is, I think, one of the cooler things about this record.
you don't think it's totally overshadowed by the vocals?
I honestly have to shut the vocals out of my mind.
How do you do that?
Because I don't like it. Okay, so like some points I do. Some points I do, okay? So this is one of those albums. Am I busting my load?
No,
right now?
keep
No,
going.
no, go for
This
it.
is one of those albums, though. There were good songs on it that I could listen to. Album-wise, this is not I couldn't listen to this as like one track.
Straight through kind of thing.
But it has really good choruses in some parts. The vocals are great in some areas.
Well, the fact that he like blew out his voice and he's coming in with this album.
Yeah, and you
Dude,
can tell there's
that's
points
pretty
in here
rad.
where he gets pretty raw. There's some points where you're like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to keep going on?
Okay, so yeah, so the album's technically about, you know, the things that are great or not great, great failure, great success that we rewrite. So like Little Snakes, track 9 is written about Mount Rushmore, and it's something that America deems as like one of their great achievements. Like, oh, but the underlying issue behind it is that was tribal land that was given to the I forget what tribe. And when we found gold in the Black Hills, we took it back. And we didn't just take it back. We went and said, hey, we're taking it back. And they said, no, you gave it to us. And so we slaughtered 300 plus of their men, women, and children to take back the land.
Yeah.
Wow, and that's wow.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So there's a lot of stuff.
That's one of my favorite tracks on there, though.
That is a really good track. But yeah, so...
Which one? Fireside?
No, Little Snakes.
I also I want to know about also if there was punk bands that came off this record label, because it sounds very punk to me at some points, and I thought that was pretty rad.
A lot of punk backtone and backbeat on a lot of the tracks. But that might just be filler for the style of music they play, because it seems like a lot of bands that have a lot of chains up really rely on that punk backbeat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, vocally too.
Yeah.
So this is like progressive punk.
Oh yeah.
I would honestly, that's a good comparison, because I heard like hardcore in it. I heard post punk.
Post-punk, for
like
sure.
I heard, like I said, there was times where I heard At the Drive-In. There was times where I heard like the Mars Volta, or even at times, but it reminded me of like Thursday, the band Thursday.
I'm not familiar with Thursday.
Yeah.
So it was like
I like Friday quite a bit. So this, we can't understate how fucking fast this guy is with his singing. It's like lightning quick, constantly.
I thought he was speaking Japanese at one point.
Oh yeah. His change ups are crazy.
Dude, it's this whole album's fast. Like these guys are fast. as fuck. Like a thrash metal, but it's not thrash metal at all.
Math rocky as fuck, I think.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
All right, so do we want to talk about what we like about this?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I love how fucking fast his vocals are, especially on the fire side where he's like,
Yeah.
and it's like insanely quick, and you can tell he's saying words. It's like
they're clear.
It's like Corpse Grinder, but clear, like clean vocals.
He makes sure he
Enunciate.
Yeah.
It's really impressive, actually.
It really
for
is.
sure.
It's never boring.
No, yeah, I can see that.
It's too fast to get boring.
Too many change-ups to get boring. What else did you like, Matt?
What did you like?
Honestly, I listened to this the first time and was kind of where you're at. Like, I don't know what's going on. There's way too many change-ups on this. I couldn't keep track of what was going on. I think the second listen through, I played it and read the lyrics along with it, and that got me wondering what the hell any of this shit was about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I started researching it. And just once I researched it, I think it really kind of brought it all into focus about where they were trying to go with it. But yeah, I loved all the change-ups. I mean, like you said, you got punk mixed with hardcore, mixed with prog metal, mixed with, I mean, everything. They covered the whole spectrum.
I would agree, yeah.
And they never slowed up. I mean, I think the only slow-ups you got were the couple instrumental tracks in between tracks.
Yeah. There was two of them, right? There was like two, like,
three.
Interlude or...
It works well.
But yeah.
Because this is kind of, it's almost exhausting.
You need a break from the...
Dude, it's, yeah. They do a good job of kind of letting up at the right time.
Oh, yeah. There were some songs in there that really, the music really portrayed what they were trying to get to. I don't remember what song it is off the top of my head, but it almost sounds like one of those, the Great American Carousel music you would hear getting off of the ride at Disneyland.
Are you talking about the guitar?
The dun, 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 dun.
Oh, I can't remember what's... Yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, oh, that's like something in the songs about, greatness of something. You're like, oh, wow, that really portrays it well. They did a really good job of portraying what their message was, not just in their lyrical content, but in their music as well.
Yeah. There's a ton of memorable, like, lyric pieces.
Yeah.
Like, you'll have to do better than that. He says that in the soliloquy, but soliloquy, that song.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to do better than that. That kept sticking out to me. And he brings it with a lot of emotion. You can feel it. And all hands. I can't stop hearing that in my head. And it's not a bad thing. Like, it's a fucking cool song.
Yeah, and it's a cool little hook.
Dude,
there's nothing wrong with it being catchy. In fact, that's like kind of, it's great.
And it's tastefully done. They do it really... so he repeats that it's really well done. He doesn't repeat it too much at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So actually what's funny is that soliloquy was about Babyface Nelson.
Really? The only thing I know about Babyface Nelson is from that movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
See, the only thing I know about him is he had a baby face. And his name was Nelson.
And a gun. A Tommy gun.
But yeah, so every one of these songs is about something different that we perceive as great or that we perceive as a great failure or a great risk. From the Sky is about the Hindenburg disaster. But it's not just about the Hindenburg disaster. It's about how the Hindenburg disaster was something that American history covered up as a global disaster when really it was a Nazi warship.
Mm-hmm. So you have these songs. Each song is a thing, and you have them listed here. Just read them off for us real quick.
So
one by one.
Migrant Mother, the first track was about Dorothea Lange's Migrant Mother photo that ran in, I think, Life magazine.
I'll put it in the video.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The Canary is about Amelia Earhart. Named the Canary after her yellow biplane. From the Sky is about the Hindenburg disaster. Harborside, track 4 is an instrumental. Really good one. It slows you down and gives you time to breathe, maybe.
It's about something we just
don't know what.
It's up to interpretation.
All Hands is supposedly about the Great Molasses Flood.
Interesting story. Okay.
The Fireside is about the Franklin D. Roosevelt's fireside chats that he did during his presidency.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Soliloquy, Babyface Nelson. Reverie is about John Dillinger. Little Snakes is Mount Rushmore. Mountainside is an instrumental. Gardenias is about Peg Entwistle.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Hillside's a instrumental, and then Rivet is about America's greatness, in air quotes.
So I'm not a big lyrics guy, but the lyrics do stick out to me as being one of the cool parts for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely hooks, and like I'll remember the lyrics. You know what I mean? There were some songs on here that were really great.
Yeah.
Like I think even the band is like, just spot on and killer. I think.
Musicianship wise.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like you would have to slow some of that down to really realize what they're doing, you know. And then at one point, I can't remember the name of the song either.
So that's what you mean about it being mathy. Like there's a lot going on that. It's so quick, it kind of gets lost. Yeah.
I would like to hear that live.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? That's like I kept thinking like I would like to hear this live. I feel like this would be better live.
Interesting.
And I kind of read up on some of the background of it, and like I kind of like had this. There was like a interview about the lead singer, which I should have looked at like everything, but the way he described the album and stuff, I was just like, this is not something I really want to. I don't care, you know. Not that I'm like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just like
No, you're not interested.
well, no, you know, it makes sense that it's punk sounding too, because you know the lyrics are, you know. So like,
do you think that's
I
part of it?
I already listened to a lot of punk rock in my life, and it was very political. And now I'm just like, don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 35 years old now, and I know that none of that shit makes any sense to me, and I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But music wise, I thought it was really great, and the vocals were, you know. I do want to go in and listen to it.
Yeah.
I want to research it now. Now that you're bringing it
so
up,
I'll say this now that you bring that up. I don't think any of this really gets political. I think it's more of a kind of a broad overview of things that happen and things that we think happened that didn't actually happen. I don't think there's any point in this where he gets really...
No, but
that's why I went off an interview of him, you know what I mean? And I should have actually done the research, so you know what I mean?
will
Like,
say-
but punk does tend to like touch
yeah.
there's
on
political tone.
on history,
Come on.
I would say the most...
FDR, fireside chats, Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
No.
But I would say the most political on here is probably the last song, Rivet. Mostly because it's about the Trump era and all the Trump
Yeah, that's what
cronies. But other than that, I think everything else just kind of brushes on more history than politicalness.
Yeah.
Do you guys hear that?
Yeah, I
ticking?
do.
It's my phone.
Oh, move your fucking phone. I'll cut it.
I kind of want to look into it more now, though.
Yeah.
Especially since, like, it reminded me of bands of, like, you know, At the Drive-In, which were, you know, very political band.
Yeah.
Thursday, which is a very political band.
So what do we not like about it?
The vocals and the lyrics are clearly the focus here. I mean, it overshadows everything else. You can't hear, like, there's a couple guitar riffs that really stand out. All Hands being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
The Canary has some cool riffs going on. But it's an onslaught of mid-range kind of vocals, or mid to high range kind of very clean vocals. It's fast and it's kind of exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that. So I would think my not likes were kind of along the same things that made the album great. Just like you said, the vocals got pitchy at times, and I don't know if that's because of the voice blowout thing or if it's just the way the recording was done. But yeah, there's some parts in it that get really kind of up there where they almost crackle.
Hasn't he always done vocals like this, though?
He
Because I
has.
like tried to like go back and listen to some other stuff, and it's
He
kind of been
has.
like that. But
Are you guys familiar with Protest the Hero before this?
okay,
Yes.
so I've always heard about this band, and I've always wanted to listen to them, but it was always something that I just never got around to. And so this is the first time I've like even listened to
Like
this
sat
band.
down and listened to
Yeah,
it.
and
I'm only really familiar with... So I'm familiar with one song that hit my radar years ago. It's called Blood Meat. It's great.
oh yeah,
I sent it to you guys.
Yeah,
It's like... Dun, 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 dun. It's killer. I I did not like the album that was on. I listened to it maybe once or twice and didn't catch. I listened to this album when it came out last year, but I'm not a big Protest the Hero fan.
Yeah.
What's missing for me in this album is in Blood Meat, he does a lot of like death metal growls.
Yeah.
And his vocal dynamic range is just like all over the place. It's much more interesting. Like if he's painting on that album, he's using way more colors, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. And there are parts in this where he does try to hit that low, but yeah, not enough.
He does, and it's cool, and it works really well, and it sounds cool. I just wish there was more of it.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I would say my dislikes were definitely the vocals.
Which is weird, right? Because it's also like kind of what's good about it.
Well, there was like I said, I couldn't listen to this. Well, I didn't say it, but earlier, but it's not a full album for me.
Yeah,
No.
like you said, listen straight through.
No, like there's like maybe 3 songs on this whole album that I'm like, okay, I'll listen to this again.
It feels cohesive, right? Like it all connects, but it's exhausting.
Like I mentioned, like it reminds me of so many different bands, and like this album came out in 2020?
Yeah.
And it literally sounds like it came out in 2004.
Well,
it's stuff I've already heard before, and now I feel like it's like getting crammed, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They package it in a tighter package.
Yeah.
So,
and we're gonna go over a rating at the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I would say the vocals, but it was definitely, it wasn't very cohesive at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There were a lot of change ups that you're like, is this another song?
And like the interludes, I like did not like them because I was like, now this is out like longer, and I I don't need the interlude.
Right,
So
it's like
that's-
those movies that like they have the fake interlude in them, like they used to have in real movie
the
theater.
intermission.
I hate
And you're like,
I hate
Jesus
the interlude
Christ.
that like doesn't need to be there. You know, it's just like, oh, we only had 4 songs to come out of this EP, so we're gonna put this.
Yeah.
But
I think
LPs
without the 3 instrumental kind of interlude things, that it still would have been a great album.
Yeah.
I don't think they necessarily needed them there.
No.
And you know what's actually kind of funny? So I put this on random in my car and listened to it. And
On shuffle or whatever.
yeah, on shuffle. And for some reason, my music every single time I did it played all 3 of the instrumentals one right after the other.
And you're like, man, these are unnecessary.
Yeah, I was like, really?
Which is weird because the vocals are so overbearing. You'd think you'd want like
I think it's a little.
break.
That's
It's too far down.
well. I think the vocals are too high in the mix. I think you need to bring it down and
Yeah.
bring out the.
They
Honestly,
probably
I
could.
had to like tone out, dude. When I hear something I don't like, I'll tone it out.
So you're just like, I'm
boom.
not listening to the.
Well, the first 2 times I listened to it, I was really engaged with the vocals
Yeah.
because that's what you're hearing and stuff.
But then you were just fatigued by the 3rd.
Well, and I just kind of just wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I started really listening to the musicianship in it, and I thought it was killer. And
Oh,
I would
yeah.
want to hear it live, but yeah, the vocals are probably the. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so 5 Blender rating. I give it a 3.1. I'll listen to some of the songs, but I'm not going to come back for the whole album. Casey.
So my first playthrough, I gave it a 3.5.
Okay.
And then once I got into the lyrical content and the structure or the story behind the album, I ended up at a 4.5, which was actually crazy because my second and third playthrough didn't change. 4.5.
So you love this album.
I really did love this album.
Wow.
This is your pick too.
This is, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you how familiar with this before you suggested this?
So I had not heard this album at all before I suggested it.
How familiar are you with this band?
I've listened to I'm familiar with Blood Meat, Clarity, maybe 2 other songs.
Okay.
So not super familiar, but
I could see you liking this though.
yeah.
Me too.
This is definitely
This is kinda
like
my
Well,
thing.
you're a
It's-
lyric guy too.
The lyric thing gets it, but also because I'm ADD as hell, and this being all over the place really keeps me like, draws me back to it because it changes and like I start wandering off onto something else, and then something changes and it's like, oh wait, what just happened?
I kind of want to tone in on the after this maybe like the lyrical content and all the stories and stuff, because maybe it'll just get me on some trippy ass conspiracy shit.
Right.
And I just go down this rabbit hole of just sitting there in my tidy whities, Cheetos, and just Bigfoot's real motherfuckers.
Cheetos beer in a pea cup.
You're like, really, at Mount Rushmore, this is what happened. It's a land grab.
So,
Nate?
So yeah, what did you end up, Nate?
okay, so I want to, the musicianship was good and stuff. I liked it. I'm going to have to give this a 2.5 star.
2.5 blenders.
Yeah.
So you gave it like an average.
Blenders. Like I said, I kind of really didn't like this record.
Yeah.
I went back and I listened to some of the, but it's not horrible, man.
No,
I would like if they were playing live or something. I'd watch them for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna grab some songs out of this and listen to them in the future.
Oh, yeah.
There's like 3 songs on this that I definitely enjoy.
Well, and I could see how you would give it to 2.5 because the voice is something that you really got to get like into. It's not something that
If you're not into it, it's exhausting,
Yeah.
but it's still a good album. If you're into it, it's 4.5.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you're into like the underlying reasonings behind an album or the story behind the songs, then it's great. And I think that's what I mostly judge it on. Like honestly, like I said, I was at a 3.5, and once I read the story behind it, I was like, oh, that's like 100 times better now.
Yeah.
What's the album art? It's like a horse.
I thought the album art sucked. It was like a bull.
It was not.
Like a bull running through with an American
It's red.
flag.
Yeah.
Dude, I was just so turned off by this record. I am so sorry. I just honestly, I think it has to do with the political thing. I think there's just so
It's
much.
exhausting.
It's exhausting. I just
On top of the
not that it's a
exhausting,
political thing. It's just
It puts off that vibe. It really does.
I just want to hear some evil ass shit sometimes.
Protest the Hero.
Palimpsest.
All right, thanks. That's Protest the Hero. Palimpsest.
Blenderstyle, motherfucker.
Blenderstyle. We out.